Hey, this is Robbie. I'm off at the crack of dawn to go photograph a bike racing event here today in San Diego. It'll be kind of fun. I'm going to put the a77 through its paces autofocus wise. I think I'm primarily going to be using the Tamron 70 to 200 2.8 or the Zeiss 24 to 70 2.8. I'm not sure. I guess it just depends how close to the action I can get, and whether or not the Tamron 70 to 200 will be able to keep up with the action, because bikes move pretty fast, so we'll see if the screw drive focus of the Tamron can keep up with what I need it to. So it should be kind of interesting. Hopefully I can record a little bit of video throughout the day. Otherwise, I'll show you some final results. Still early. I just got to where the race is going to start. See all the people back over there. So that's who we're going to film all day long. Try and get some cool shots. First race starts in about 45 minutes. So let's go wander around. So we have all kinds of people on bicycles riding around warming up. It's kind of a good opportunity to experiment. I just was doing a little bit, I guess it's called panning. So I dropped my shutter speed to 1/15 of a second. Continuous autofocus. I just adjusted my aperture so I could get a proper exposure at 1/15. And then kind of tracked them with movement as they went by, so boom. And it creates a really cool effect. They're stationary in the middle of the frame, but everything else is blurring out, which is cool. Even if they're going 2 miles an hour, you can still do it. It's really neat. So I'll show you a few examples. So they're setting off in small little waves. I'm trying a variety of panning and just normal photography. So it'll be interesting to see how these turn out. The waves will be leaving all day long, and then I think I'm going to hop in a car and go track them down, see if I can get them in action. Now we're over on the mountain bike trail for mountain bike race. About to start that in a few minutes. Get some pictures here, see what it's like. So now we're back after a long day. We're sitting in the back of the pickup, pacing bike riders, trying to get some cool pictures, so we'll see. Hopefully things turned out. So here are some of the pictures I took at the bike race that I photographed. I initially took close to 1200. I whittled it down to probably 35, so let's start going through. This is the panning effect I was describing in the video. Kind of lock on to the target and then track them while they're moving with a slow shutter speed, 1/15 of a second, and you get this cool motion blur effect. I did it here. I kind of messed up a little bit. I moved not enough or too much, so the subject is kind of blurry, but it created a neat abstract image. This is when one of the races was starting. Kind of had a nice leading line here I liked. This guy was in a hurry to lead this pack. More people. The event coordinators, triple person bike with the mayor of the city the bike race was going through. More event coordinators. Now we drove over to the mountain bike portion of this race. A friend took a picture of me. I'm using the a77 Carl Zeiss 24 to 70 2.8 here on the mountain bike course because we were standing quite close to the subject. Another panning effect. Now we're standing on the side of the road taking pictures of a couple bikers as they go by us. I was using my AM58 speed light on top of my a77 as a fill flash just to pop some light in there and light them up. Somewhat slow shutter speed just to give a little bit of feel of movement, but still keep them frozen. I really wanted to use a rear curtain sync flash, but for some reason when you enable rear curtain sync, you can't go into high-speed sync. So that was just something to keep in mind that was a little bit strange. Framing-wise, I wish I had not cut off the tires, but these guys are moving fast. It's a really difficult job to frame them properly. In all of these shots where a biker is moving, I'm using continuous autofocus. I'm using the group of autofocus points, usually the top one so it covers their head, and I have face detection turned on just to give it a little bit of an extra edge. It does a really good job of locking on. I was pretty happy with it. Sometimes it's a hair out of focus, but it's not too bad. So for framing, it's just going to take a lot of practice to try and get the bike perfectly in frame without having to crop anything and to still get everything in focus. So moving on, we're at a rest stop here. A picture of someone filling up Gatorade, which was kind of neat. The bike repairman. Now I'm sitting in the back of a pickup truck with my Tamron 70-200 2.8 on the a77, still continuous focus group, face detection turned on, just shooting in continuous low. So about 4 frames a second. I don't want to blast off tons of frames, I don't need them. So about 4 frames a second, I usually squeeze off 2 or 3 per bike rider. And this is going up a really steep grade. One thing that I did discover while doing this is the lens hood. If you're in the back of a pickup truck, take it off. This didn't dawn on me until after I had finished doing this. It catches the wind, and it was just making me a little bit unsettled. I didn't want to lose it. If I do this again, I'm going to take the lens hood off, leave it in the car, and then I'll have much more freedom to move around without having to worry about the wind catching the lens. Focus-wise, the a77 Tamron, even with a screw drive, did quite well. I mean, we're moving at 40 miles an hour, and they're moving. So it was able to lock on and track these guys surprisingly well, even with a screw drive lens. I mean, this one is perfect focus. Some of them are slightly off in or out on focus, but that's to be expected, and they're still definitely usable. Some more bike riders. Now went to the after event, one of the chefs, beer garden. A couple shots that my buddy took of me, which was kind of neat. A77 Tamron 70-200 2.8, and just a hummingbird that was flying around. So those were some of my images from the bike race. I definitely learned a lot, and there's a few things that I would do differently, and a few things that will just take a lot of practice to sort out. Framing, getting the whole bike in the frame, just is going to take practice. It's hard because the focus points aren't conducive to keeping the entire thing. For some reason, they never quite align. It's really difficult. Also, the lens hood, if you're in the back of a car, panning is just going to take a lot more practice. It can create some really cool artistic effects, but it takes practice. Also, when you're on the side of the road and you have people coming by pretty close, a fill flash, depending on time of day, can be really useful. All in all, my gear worked great. I was happy with the speed of the Tamron 70-200 2.8. I mean, I wish it was a little bit faster focus-wise with an internal motor, but I was able to make it work. The Carl Zeiss 24-70 worked flawlessly. It was lightning fast focus and beautiful images. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions about photographing a bike race, or if you have any pointers that would help me photograph one of these better next time, please leave a comment below. Thanks. Bye.